Posted by you/throw_ra_necessary_22. I, 31F, have many houseplants, including some that were quite expensive and were gifts from my sister. Within the last 6 months, at least a third of my plants have died. I have had houseplants my whole life due to my late mother's love of them, and I know a lot about plant care. The deaths didn't seem related to a lack of light, inconsistent watering, nutrient deficiencies, or even root rot. They just died very suddenly. I tried not to let it upset me too much, because plants die, and none of the expensive ones had died, until now. My sister gave me a 5-leaf Monstera albo as a birthday gift 2 months ago. It was beautiful. This morning, I was crying pretty hard about it as I unpotted the plant and inspected the roots. I was examining the plant and roots closely to see if its death was pest-related, and that's when I noticed a smell. I sniffed my potting mix and smelled bleach. The only other adult in my home with unlimited and unobserved access to my plants is my husband. I wasn't able to talk to him for several hours, but when I could, I very calmly yet directly asked if he had done something to my plants. He denied it at first. I told him I smelled bleach in the potting mix of the albo my sister had given me and that he was the only person who could have put it there. He finally admitted it. He said he had been putting small amounts of bleach into the fertilizer water jugs I prepare. I started crying. I asked him, why would you do this? You know I love these plants, why would you destroy them? He didn't really answer, nor did he truly apologize. The trust I had in him is completely gone. I think counseling might help us, but he's the one who did this, and yet I would be the one to set it up. The angry part of me just wants to be done with the relationship. I know that might seem extreme, as we are married and share a child, but I now feel like I'm not safe around my husband. Update 1 day later. I thank everyone for giving advice. The townhome we live in belongs to my sister and me, part of our inheritance from my mother. My husband has an office/gaming room that is his personal space, and there are no plants in there. There are also no plants in the kitchen. I'm not a plant hoarder. Just as he has a room for himself, I have a sunroom where most of my plants are concentrated. He has no reason to go in there. It's not like it's the access to our backyard or anything. I've seen some people suggest that maybe he's tired of bugs, but I don't have a fungus gnat problem. I did see someone ask why I didn't smell the bleach while watering, and all I can say is maybe my nose just wasn't close enough to notice. I also usually use a natural systemic in my fertilizer water called SNS 209, which has a strong rosemary scent, but I ran out last month and haven't replaced it yet. After our conversation yesterday, I needed space. I spent the night in my daughter's room on a trundle bed. I'm going to text my husband today. He usually communicates more easily and opens up better through text than face-to-face. I'm going to ask for a reason, and I'll see what he says. Second update 3 days later. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to update in a separate post, but my husband won't be welcome in my home anymore, and I need to find a lawyer ASAP. On Monday, I texted him, and he admitted again to putting bleach in my fertilizer water. He said it wasn't in every jug I made, which explains why not all my plants were dying, but randomly over the past 6 months. His exact words were that I deserved to be knocked down a peg. After our text exchange, I left work early and went into his office. I usually respect his space completely. I don't even go in there to grab dirty dishes. I'm not sure what I was looking for, but all the comments suggesting he might be working up to something worse or already doing something else had me really worried. When I went in, I found a drawer full of my daughter's dolls, dollhouse furniture, and small toys. I bought her that dollhouse for her 4th birthday last year, and she absolutely loves it. She takes such good care of her toys, but something always ends up missing, and it's always my husband who notices. He lectures her about keeping track of her things and says he won't let her play with her dollhouse if she keeps losing pieces. He keeps going until she starts sobbing. Whenever I hear this, I always step in and ask him to take a break. I thought he was just losing his cool. I've told him before that this isn't the right way to handle things with a child, but he'd insist he just wanted her to grow up responsible. Now, I realize it was some sort of twisted scheme. He would steal her toys, stash them away, and then point out they were missing to berate her until she cried. My sister, her husband, and his dad came over this afternoon, and they've changed the locks. I texted my husband to tell him he's not coming back. He can come on Saturday morning to grab his essential things, but my brother-in-law and another man will be there to supervise. Sorry if this is unclear or if some details seem missing. This Reddit post isn't my top priority right now. I probably won't be updating again. Thank you to everyone who's been concerned about my safety. Third update 6 months later. I've recently received some messages asking for an update to let everyone know that my daughter and I are safe. We are both safe. Without going into too much detail, but to satisfy those curious, my husband, the man I thought I knew, has changed so drastically that it feels like he ripped off a mask. He has sworn at me, screamed at me, pushed me to the ground twice, and kicked me in the face. Throughout our entire marriage, I was never once afraid of physical violence from him. The police have been involved, and the divorce is still in progress. After an initial period of intense anger, he seems to have stopped caring completely. He said he doesn't want any custody and wants to give up his parental rights to our daughter. He doesn't see her anymore. In the last month, I've heard that he actually has a new girlfriend. His parents still talk to me, and I'm still on good terms with his mom. One of my husband's college friends also reached out to me to ask what's going on. We texted, and he told me that my husband has ghosted their entire group of friends after someone in the group called him out for some kind of bad behavior. One positive thing, though it's also sad, is that my daughter has become so bright and wonderful since her dad has been gone. There's been a profound change in her behavior. She's happy, silly, and joyful again. I guess there's been a change in both of us. It's like the frog in boiling water. I was sitting there, slowly boiling, and never realized it. We lived in a house where we were always walking on eggshells. If my husband was upset, he would fill the house with hostility. I'm not sure how to describe it, but I was constantly on guard, never able to relax. I wasn't afraid of physical violence, so I don't want to make it sound more serious than it was, but it was suffocating. Thank you all for helping me realize I was in that boiling pot. This sub says I need to pose a question to post. What can I do for my daughter to let her know she's safe and loved always? I know I failed her when I heard her dad yelling at her about the dollhouse. I tried to step in every time, but it doesn't feel like enough. I feel so guilty. She's on a waiting list for therapy, and our structure at home is still the same. She seems like she's thriving, but I just don't know for sure.